Hi, my name is Lisa and I'm in group 20. Our project is about the impact of wife's social status on husband's income in China. And we're going to cover four parts. The first is introduction and then the data and then the target effect and explanation and then the summary. And I'm going to talk about the introduction. First, I'm going to give a brief history of gender inequality. At the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, as the manufacturing sector expanded and the factories grew, physically demanding and geographically distant jobs emerged, which favored male participation in the workforce because male male generally have better physical strength, whereas female are considered emotionally richer and patient, so they could only occupy the private sphere related to the family. This leads to the separation of workers' home life from their workplace. However, this separation did not grant women rights within the family, as men had authority in both the public and private spheres. As of today, globally, gender equality has not been completely achieved, and in developing countries, the disparity between women's social status and legal rights compared to men is more significant. In China, women are the key focus in the battle against poverty. As of 2020, women accounted for 43.5% of the employed workforce in the society in China. Therefore, we want to explore what kind of benefits or influences of increasing women's social status would have. More specifically, we want to understand how wife's social status is related to the husband's income. And our initial hypothesis is that wife's social status has a positive effect on the family income, but not necessarily on husband's income. Our logic behind this is that as wife's social status increase, their income will be increased generally. And then because they are a member of the family, the income for the whole family will be naturally higher. And the target audience of our project are as follows. The first is the sociologists and economists, because our project gives them some insights into social dynamics. And then the second is the policymaker, because our project helped them to understand and address income disparities. And then lastly, it is general public, because our project helped them to gain awareness of societal influences on personal finance. Overall, our project gives people a new perspective when considering social status and income. And lastly, I will give a brief preview of our surprising results. So we ran some regressions, and the response variables of all these regressions is husband's income. From our results, the variable that indicates wife's social status, such as the work status, decision power, and housework time, all have a statistically significant influence on husband's income, which is contrary to our initial hypothesis.
My name is Yanling Xu, and in the next part, I will talk about data. But let's look into datasets. We utilize the China Family Panel Studies data from 2018, which covers 25 provinces and represents 95% of China's population for our empirical analysis. The 2018 tracking survey data includes women's personal data, such as women's internet use, participation in household chores and labor, and detailed data at household level, which can reflect the dynamic changes of individual women and their families. The data comes from the CFPS website. The link is below. Next, in order to do the regression, we need to prepare our data first. Because our original data is in DTA form, so we first do preliminary data cleaning process in Stata to prepare for further steps. First, we only keep variables we need and drop the others. Next, we delete all the value labels of the columns filtered in the first step to substitute the verb with numerical data with some skews we set. Next, we convert datasets into the CSV form to do the coding and Python. We merge the three datasets and filter out missing values and meaningless values according to the numerical scales we set. Then, we split the merged data frame into male and female two parts and match each male to a female according to the family ID, which means that if they belong to the same family. Then, we create a new decision-making variable to indicate whether women have property decision-making power in their family. In next step, we run the OLS regression. To see the effects of women's status in the family on their husband's income, we mainly consider women's status in the family in three aspects. First is the time spent on their housework. Second, whether women have property decision-making power in the families. And last one, whether women go out and work. The three components of X contribute to X in different directions. While X1 have negative effects on women's status, the X2 and X3 have positively shows the women's status in the family. We run three OLS regressions separately to see whether they give consistent results. Thank you.
I'm Hao Long, and I'm mainly responsible for data regression analysis. And we have known that if we increase women's social status, the women's income will also increase, as women are an important part of the family. The income for the whole family will also increase. But this part, we want to explore the impact of women's advancement on another important part of the family, that is, their husbands, from the economic perspective. Therefore, we use a regression model to find the potential relationship between the women's status and husband's income. And for the regression result, we could find the first one is about the women's household times. The coefficient for the women's housework times is significantly negative. It reflects that the more houseworks a woman undertakes, the lower her husband's income. And the second one is about the women's decision-making power in the family, and the coefficient is significantly positive. It reflects that if a woman has decision-making power, her husband tends to have more income. And the third is about women's work status, and coefficient is significantly positive. It reflects that husbands also tend to have more income if women are involved in the workforce. So the results are consistent across the three dimensions of women's status. For the regression results, we can find families where women have higher social status. Husbands also tend to have higher incomes. So this is also the surprise in our project. That is, if women has the higher social status, their husbands will tend to have higher income. Intuitively, we find some explanations for this surprise. Like if we increase women's social status, it will lead to harmonious family, synergistic effect of the couple. The women will also provide resources, emotional support, and positive motivation for the whole family and their husbands. So their husband will tend to have higher income.
I'm Kuchun Liu. Here's our summary. As we conclude our presentation, this revelation of our unexpected outcome, the status of wives positively impacts their husbands' earnings, prompts us to share several important takeaways. For economists, socialists, this insight underscores the potential social and economic benefits of empowering women. Conducting further research can contribute to find a more effective social functioning and economic growth. Policymakers, especially in developing regions, should take note of this outcome. It emphasizes the need for continuous refinement of policies that foster gender equality, considering factors such as women's education and employment. To the general public, this revelation is encouraging news. It calls for increased awareness of gender equality and shows its benefits to all genders. This awareness can fuel support for women's involvement in various industries, as well as a shared responsibility within families for household duties. It challenges traditional roles and suggests a more nuanced division of responsibilities between genders. As researchers, this project has been a significant learning experience for us. We put much efforts to find variables that may produce unexpected outcome. The positive relationship has promoted a re-evaluation of our own gender equality mindset. We are now contemplating the actions we can take after this founding. That's all we want to share with you. Thank you for your listening.